Alright, we should be live. We're back. We're working on Norman Osborn / Green Goblin. And I have to add a card in. So, in conjunction with building Norman Osborn's deck, I've also been working on Fleam for Brawl. And somehow I missed or just glossed over Near Dive, however you pronounce her name. So blue and 2 for a 2/2 becomes tapped. Target player mills cards equal to its power. Doesn't really matter. Whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard or activate the ability of a card in your graveyard, I just read it as put a 1/1 counter on her. I completely glossed over the draw card. So we were at 199, but anything that is letting me potentially draw cards every time I cast something from the graveyard is doubling up on the cantrip effects on the 2-mana artifacts. So I kind of need something along those lines. Do I not have the third jumpstart on here? How did that happen? Alright. I'm gonna forget to fix this later, too. I wonder how many times I have gone to put a card from this set here and suddenly realized I don't have the thing, like the header for it. Near dive. Like, obviously it doesn't have an E at the end, but I do still wonder if it's supposed to be a long I anyway. Devious Diver is its name. 2 and a blue. Definitely a merfolk. I'm assuming a rogue, but possibly a wizard. Yeah, it's a rogue, 2/2. Two. Oh, and if you're wondering, I'm having just as much trouble narrowing down the cards for Fleam as I am for Green Goblin. Like, it's only got 135 cards instead of 200, but it also has 135 cards and it has like a third of the list of all of the cards in Magic. So, yeah, trying to narrow that one down is proving just as difficult. Excuse me, if not more so, because of the things that I don't have access to. Alright. Speaking of which, let's run through the card list once and see if I can find some stuff that can obviously go. Yeah, Stone Calendar should probably still be up for consideration. Yeah, I want to keep these. Grand Dynamo can probably go. With Fleam, I've been cutting the artifacts that don't by default. Meet the things for it, so where they are automatically free and making more mana. Like, Grand Dynamo is technically making more mana in that it taps for 2 more colorless than it costs to cast, but it also is eating up some amount of my mana, and I don't know that I need colorless that badly. Like, I've cut most of the 3-drop artifacts and Gilded Lotus from Fleam for that same reason. Because I need to still have mana available to get started. So anything that's not... Like, I have a couple of the 3-mana rocks, but most of them are getting cut. I actually cut all of the signets because you need a mana afterwards to activate them. Ooh, excuse me. So those might also have to... I have to check Norman's artifact mana sources, honestly, and see which ones I can cut. Because the fact that they are free is great, but they don't tap for mana if you didn't have a mana to work with at the start. So all of the talismans and whatnot are still on the list, but the signets are off for that reason. I think I'm going to cut things like Gilded Lotus for the same reason. I have to have mana already available to get the party started, so the more mana I need to have it be mana neutral, the less likely I am to want to run it. I'm not prepared yet to cut the signets from Norman, the way I did from Fleam, but I'm probably going to get there shortly. Yeah, you can probably lose Coalition Relic for the same reason. Did I still have Darksteel Ingot on the list? Because... Oh, there it is. Yeah, I just glossed over it. Okay. Because I did mean to cut it. I do think I'm cutting. I'm probably going to leave in Relic of the Ages or whatever it's called, the one that lets you tap and untap Legend in order to add a mana. Because that one should be fine still. Since I have a handful of Legends in the deck, including Green Goblin himself. But I'm thinking I can lose a lot of the ones that cost more than 2 mana because of that. Which would in turn allow me to cut, like, some of the ones that care about artifacts specifically being cheaper, since all of them will be theoretically free at that point. Spring into the core, Gitaxian Probe. Lantern I'm tempted to keep because of cards like Bazaar of Baghdad. So that way they actually produce mana. So Chromatic Lantern might be worth keeping. I have to think about that one a little bit more. So anything... Oh, I forgot to put... I noticed this when I was looking at it for Fleam. I forgot to have the Exile discard clause there. Well, these can stay for right now. Oh, also, Patrician Geist, while I'm on here, is very different on Arena because it's one of the rebalanced alchemy cards on Arena. So instead of making your spells from the graveyard cost 1 generic less, it makes them cost either 1 generic or 1 blue less. So if I had a spell that was blue and 2 and I discarded it on Arena, I could cast it for free from my graveyard with Patrician Geist and Fleam in play at the same time. So I'm not really taking advantage of that because the red ones give me treasure to work with, so that still seems like the better one, like the better option. But there are certainly still blue cards in the deck, so discarding them and having them, having mana drain or counterspell cost a single blue because I discarded it becomes a huge thing that there's no real equivalent for paper magic. I just thought I would point that out because I pulled up Patrician Geist for Fleam because I was thinking about running it anyway, and then I see the rebalance and I'm just like, oh, that is way more powerful. Good God. Yeah, Relic of Legend should stay for right now anyway. Since it can tap for more mana. I did cut the One Ring from Fleam, but that has a lot to do with the rebalance against the One Ring, where it costs mana to activate. I don't just get the card immediately for no additional mana. Galadriel definitely stays because I can discard my entire hand, and then it becomes one of those draw two each time I would draw one effects instead. Flail, Bitter Triumph, Rolf, Artisan's Talent. I'm debating cutting Ral, honestly. Ral has more chance, though, of making it in this version, where I only need to kill one opponent at 25 life in Brawl, and therefore Ral is a lot less impressive. Having to kill 2 to 3 players at 40 requires a bit more of an uphill battle, and giving Storm to my Storm cards to effectively double Storm seems really important. Console, Withering Torment, Matrix, an Artillerist. Also, I had forgotten to note this, but since we have Displacer Kitten in the deck, and it's almost definitely making it all the way through, Monument to Endurance and the other one, Tevil's Judgment, got a lot more powerful with the kitten because you can reset them. Because changing zones, similar to a lot of other cards, in fact, basically all cards, when it changes zones, it becomes a new object, and there's no card memory past looking back at the card as it existed on the battlefield when it went to the graveyard or went to exile to determine how much what its value should have been for its triggered abilities from having that happen. So if you can blink Monument to Endurance, you can keep getting the effects from it. So if I discard a card and then cast that, if I discard a 2-drop artifact and then cast that now 0-drop artifact from the graveyard, I'll have gotten either the treasure or the card most likely from Monument to Endurance, and possibly the damage, depending on what the situation was. And then I can cast that spell from the graveyard, trigger the Displacer Kitten, and blink the Monument so that the next card I discard will also get that benefit. So yeah, there's a whole lot of moving pieces going on with this deck. And I've, like, when I put Displacer Kitten on the list, the goal was just to blink the cantripping artifacts when they, cast one from the graveyard, blink one of the other ones, and then draw multiple cards because of that. But you can also do this. So I thought I should point it out because I kind of glossed, like, I don't think I mentioned it out loud. I knew I could in the back of my head, and yeah, I think that's something worth noting. I did also put Uthros in in Fleam, but I'm not sure that that's actually going to be good. It has the double downside of entering tapped and requiring me to have started to go off in order for it to work. So I don't think that's quite good enough. If I manage to make 6 zombies so that I can station 6 zombies, 12, whatever the 1/1 flyers I'm going to be using, birds from Hermes or Thopters from something else that makes them whenever I do the thing. Whatever it is that is making all of these things, if I have made enough of them to fully station, but one of the things, and like at least Cavron, the idea is that if I fully station it, I can then win the game with the other pile of tokens. If I'm making 1,000 tokens, then tapping 6 to 12 of them to station this so that I can actually give everything haste and win the game makes a lot of sense. Whereas generating, an extra like 50 blue mana might not be relevant at all because I already can do whatever I needed to do in order to win the game. So I don't think we actually need the extra value out of weapons manufacturing. Manufacturing? Sorry, Academy Manufactor is creeping into my vocabulary, I think. But yeah, I don't think we actually need manufacturing. Yes, I keep Chameleon for right now, but I might not need him. We've already started cutting, excuse me, cards that require. We've already started cutting cards that require additional discounts to maximize. Like, I've got a whole handful of them off to the side that I'm already cutting. So I don't know that we would need to copy Norman. Copying something like Joyra to get additional draws from casting my spells might be worth it. But also, I'm debating whether or not I even need the Soul Stone, to be perfectly honest. Um, since it's always mana neutral. It is a decent ramping artifact for the setup turns, but I don't think that's necessary because we have a bunch of other things for that. Like, we have nearly infinite 2-drop artifacts and they become free when we're doing the combo, whereas this one always costs a black and then taps for black, so it's mana neutral instead of plus mana. So yeah, I think we cut the Soul Stone. Also, that will save people who haven't pulled one a ton of money since it's the most expensive thing in the set. I'm already asking you to find Bazaar Baghdad or to replace it, so. File, Hammeret's Archive, Dark Petition. As disappointing as it is, it might be See the Truth that needs to go. We have a ton of cards that draw us a card or draw us a bunch of cards and discard a card. And the ones that are drawing one card can be free when we're going off. So this one is effectively draws me 3 cards. It does not benefit from any of the cards that draw me extra cards though, because it's not drawing them, it's putting them in my hand from the top of my deck, which is different but similar as far as Magic rules are concerned. Functionally it's the same thing until you start looking at, literally the card below it and realize it does not draw you 6 cards because of that, whereas the draw 4, discard 3 at random will now draw me 8, discard 3 at random. for 2 mana, or 1 mana if I discard one of them first. So it's not benefiting from that, and it's also not giving me a discard outlet for anything. And I have plenty of draw and discard effects, so I think we lose See the Truth. And that makes me sad because I did want to run that. I love Ancestral Recall. It's literally my favorite card and my pick for most powerful card in Magic. I think it's slightly better, like fractions of a percentage point better overall than Black Lotus. Like, most people will tell you that as far as most powerful cards go, when you have access to literally everything, Black Lotus, because of the mana advantage. And I do not disagree. I put Black Lotus at 2. You know, I don't disagree with the raw power level of Black Lotus, but at the end of the day, it's a mana source, and if you don't have anything to do with your mana sources, very similar to if you don't have the mana sources to play the cards, then drawing all the cards in the world also won't help you. So they're both there as far as the best examples of the best effects in the game, but I do prefer, since there are a lot of powerful mana sources, to have access to more cards, and the cheaper the card draw is and the more cards it gives you access to, the better it is. And so I tend to put Ancestral Recall above Black Lotus in my literal best cards in Magic the Gathering hierarchy, whereas most people do put the Black Lotus first. And my only real argument for that is that obviously you want both, and I do think it's like it's not even like it's a 1% better card. It's like a 0.05% better card as far as power levels go. But if I have to get granular enough to go like they're not tied for first, then I give it to Ancestral Recall over Black Lotus. So cutting a card that in this deck is functionally Ancestral Recall makes me sad, but we're getting more power out of cards that are... We're getting more power out of cards that aren't giving you as much card advantage normally, but in this deck functionally give you more card advantage. I think it'll give you more. We can strike it rich. It's mana neutral, not up mana, and I need room, so off you go, strike it rich. Like, I think with this deck, I would probably be better with something like Lotus Petal, because it will let me go up a mana on that turn, and I'm not bothering with Lotus Petal, so I should not be bothering with Strike It Rich. Ashling Flame Dancer. For that matter, Glaring Fleshraker. Although I am planning on running all of the talismans and a lot of other colorless sources, so I don't think I will have trouble casting Glaring Fleshraker, and once it's in play, all of the now free cantripping artifacts will help kill the opponents faster. Having to whittle through 40 life means I need a few more cards backing up the storm than normal to make sure we actually kill everybody in one shot if we start going off, because you really don't want to leave everybody at the table at like 3 or 4 after spending everything you have trying to wipe them out, because they will suddenly have a very real reason to come kill you first before finishing each other off. And the only thing that might save you is their innate desire to win versus their desire to see you lose. Might make people hesitant to pull that trigger, because then the other players might be able to attack them for lethal before they get another untap step, so... It might be Jessica's Will. I have so much other card draw and a lot of other ways to add mana. Now, granted, this thing is always going to add... Not always, but it's very hard for this to not add more mana than it costs to cast if we can discard it first. But with Green Goblin in play, so... But at the same time, I'm getting a handful of mana, and I'm getting 3 cards that I can't discard. Like, I can't discard from my hand because they're not there, so I can't discount them. So I think we can lose Jessica's Will, even though it's perfectly fine in the deck, and just a generally exceedingly powerful card. Alright, Command Sphere is mana neutral and draws me a card, and I am very concerned with being able to draw cards as fast and as often as possible, so... also, I misspelled Arcane Signet. I accidentally hit the E instead. Just now noticed that. Hmm. See, the difference between Jessica's Will and Ignite the Future is, since I will have cast it from the graveyard, all three of those cards will be free until end of turn. So, while I'm not getting a discount from Norman, I am getting the discount from Ignite the Future, so that feels a lot better. And especially since I can go up a lot of mana, just looking at something like Bone Miser or Future, not Futures, other three blue and technically it's four blue and two enchantment, Mind Over Matter. If I hit something like that where I am saving a ton of mana and a ton of colored mana on the Mind Over Matter, for example, or like a Bolus's Citadel or something, anything along those lines, then I'm getting a huge mana advantage from this card. So. Honestly, Braylon can probably go. He's way more expensive than some of the similar cards, and he's about on par. I did happen to notice that I did not have Glinthorn Buccaneer on the list when I have things like Braylon here, but I think it's more a thing that maybe Braylon should go because he's a little less impressive than some of the other things. It's mana neutral. The other ability is nice, but not necessarily good. Honestly, I think I'm going to cut Smirking Spelljacker also. It was relatively early in the card selection process, and while I do like a cheap counterspell that can eventually let me cast a spell for free, I do have to attack with her in order to pull that one off. Thinking the Spell Slinger can also go. But maybe not yet. Honestly, Relic is super close. Can probably lose Emmett, though. Like, at best, he can let me cast one more spell on the turn that I'm going off. So, yeah, I think I cut him. All of those are fine for right now. Alright, so if I copy the Pumpkin Bombs. So I have 12 cards that I've cut. That brings me down to 188. Let me clear all. Alright, let's do the Mana Rocks next. Assault Monolith. Mana Vault. Oh, oops. I have so many on the list, I don't think I can afford to not take advantage of them being together. Vault Monolith, Mana Vault and Soul Ring, Belwar Stone, Diamond, Stone, Lith. I feel like Phyrexian Altar is almost something else, but I guess I should include it. um, Talismans. And Ironworks, if I'm including Phyrexian Altar, then I have to include Parkland also. Robber Top, Signets. Now, granted, it's not super hard to have a mana left over to get them started, but it's harder than doing absolutely nothing, like with the talismans. Once once the combo is going, so I am still a little hesitant. None of these. Sculptor. Prophetic Prism doesn't actually tap for mana. It's in here to be one of the cantripping artifacts, not a mana rock. Yeah. The Prismatic Lens does tap for colorless just straight up, so it does go up mana, even if I can use it to filter if I needed to instead. But Prophetic Prism is just in there for the card draw effect. And then if I needed to filter, if I had colorless mana and I needed a colored mana to cast a spell, it can filter, but that's true of a bunch of the things on this list, like Guild Globe and Golden Egg. My brain wandered off while I was thinking about all of that. I didn't miss anything, right? I missed Mox Opal. Oh, and I also missed Everflowing Chalice. Oops. Like I said, my brain wandered off there for a second. Hey. There's Prismatic Lens. Then Everflowing Chalice and Mox Opal. Okay. Chalice, Mox Opal. Burning Vengeance, Faithless Looting. Lantern, yes. Goon, Shreds, Foundry Inspector. Scrolled too fast again. Okay, but there wasn't anything here this time. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, my brain, I'm like thinking about other things because of the cards that I'm grabbing, and it's like, did I actually check? Did I read those cards? Did I make sure that they were not mana producing artifacts here? Spare supplies. Seeds. Fervent. Ball. Legends. Vile. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be pronounced vile, like same thing, but they took the time to spell it PH, and I'm going to take the time to pronounce it PH. It's definitely the same word, just might be like an older, outdated spelling. But I don't know if it was supposed to also lead to an older, outdated pronunciation as a result, or if a file and a vial are very similar. But I'm pretty sure it's the exact same word. It's a bygone era. Make it sound fancier. Some water. Just now realized I popped that lid near the microphone, so. It's definitely got picked up. Alright, last one was the file of Galadriel. What? There it is. Getting caught up on pronunciation. Rolf, no. Talent. Ral. None of these are mana producing artifacts. Monument to Endurance weirdly can be, but I'm a little disinclined to include it. That's not its main thing. But you can cast it for. The problem is that it does not immediately make mana on its own. Like, I still need to do something else to have it make mana, so I guess we don't include it there. Which is kind of true for Phyrexian Altar and Parkland Ironworks. I need to have done something else, but Stone, Quantum Fiddler, Scour, Starfield. Those. There's the other talisman. 19. Yeah, Urza turns all of my artifacts into Mox Sapphires, but you still need to have those artifacts, so I don't think I can count him either. 21. Vessel's 22. Look is in fact 23. Do I have a 24th and more importantly, a 25th one? Or am I done now? Okay. So I guess technically I did not need to combine Soul Ring and Mana Vault for the sake of and it is specifically artifact ramp. We do have other non-artifact sources that can produce mana for us, but Chromatic lens. These were out of order, and I forget what the actual order is supposed to be. But the part of my brain that wants to organize things is screaming at me that those are out of order, and I need to fix that somehow. Of course, that one. I just reflexively double tap, so of course that one. Also, kind of want to put the talisman up with the other talismans. Being completely honest, just so that way they're there. That one I want to put out of order, so that way the brain space is not used anymore for processing where the third one of those went. Yeah, some things I want to put in order by the release order, and some things I want to put in order by where they are, like, you know, as a group. And the fact that one card from the cycle in this case is like down here, and the other two are up here, wildly driving me crazy. So, all right, so we do have over 20 mana producing artifacts still on the list. So right now, Basalt Monolith is one of the worst ones still on the list, since it will cost 1 mana to cast. Obviously, we go up 3 mana, so we're netting 2 mana if we discard it, but that is true of several other artifacts on the list that don't require an additional mana investment that turn to use them, and similar to the ones that require that additional mana investment, that are in the same category as it, they require additional mana to untap on future turns. So it's kind of the worst of both worlds at that point. Like, it's not free like Mana Vault or Grim Monolith are, and it also doesn't untap in the same way they don't, and requires a mana investment later on. So yeah, I'm thinking Basalt Monolith can go as one of the more obvious cuts to make. I am wondering if it is the signets still, just because they do require additional mana to function properly. Like, I can probably cut the 3-drop one that turns all my lands into each color. Chromatic Lantern, there it is. I'm looking for like Prismatic, and I'm like, no, not those, not that. But yeah, I do think we can cut Chromatic Lantern. Like, as far as the 3-drops go, all of the other 3-drops, like Relic of Legends, can produce more than 1 mana, potentially. File of Galadriel is, in addition to making mana, also lets me draw cards if my hand is empty and I start drawing. I get extra cards, and so that enables the combo to keep going. And Commander Sphere is kind of like the worst of those 3 now, but it does go mana neutral and then draw a card. So it's close enough to the 2-drop hand-tripping artifacts at that point. I think maybe Commander Sphere can also go because of that. Relic of Sauron is mana neutral. It's the draw and discard is so bad at 3 mana to activate, but at the same time, it's not nothing, and the fact that I can spend 2 mana to cast this from the graveyard, and it will not only give me back the 2 mana, but it will filter it to any of my colors in any combination that I need. You know, if I had 2 mana to cast it from the graveyard, I have whatever 2 mana I still needed. Like if I had the mana before, I still have it, and if I didn't have the mana before, I have it now. Type of thing where it's like, I didn't have access to double blue because of how I had to pay for spells earlier in the turn to get to this point, but now that it's in play, I have access to double blue again by tapping like a red and a black, so that's not nothing when factoring this in. I think the biggest thing about Command Sphere is I can't get extra cards out of it by flickering it with like Displacer Kitten or something. So I can get extra mana out of it by flickering. That is another thing to note about Displacer Kitten. Like, Displacer Kitten is huge in this deck because of all of the different tricks you can do. If I cast one of my 0-drop artifacts, I can also flicker a mana rock. If you played with Displacer Kitten in, like, cubes and whatnot, you're probably aware of that, but you can go up mana with Displacer Kitten also. Displacer Kitten is one of the stronger cards in this deck because of all the shenanigans it enables with all of these non-creature spells that I'm trying to cast for free and whatnot. So yeah, I think the Commander Sphere can go. It's not quite there, and I'm doing better with other things, so yeah, mana neutral and draw a card is not the worst argument for the card being in the deck, but it's one of those cards I just don't have the room. It's not that it's not good in it's not that it's not good in the deck, it's that it's not anywhere near good enough in comparison to the other cards we have to choose from. I feel like Relic of Sauron is gonna go just because I don't have room for everything, but I also feel like the signets are going to go. Like, I don't have room for everything, and they do require a mana. Like, if the mana is tight and I'm trying to go off, now granted, if I cut them, it's going to mean that I drew something else entirely that might not be castable also, because I left that on the list instead of these, but or I might get in a position where I have 1 or 2 mana left over, but the thing that I've drawn isn't. But we only have so much room for not cantripping artifacts, for mana rocks also. We only have so much room for cantripping artifacts. Like, I literally have to cut over 100 cards from this list, so I think as good as they are in general, I think the signets or the talismans are better, first of all, because I just get mana from them immediately. And I do think the ones that are tapping for colorless but are free at that point are slightly better than the ones that will tap for colored mana, but I have to have a mana. Like, it will pay me back the mana. It will go up mana if I have the mana left over, but I need to have the mana left over, so. Alright, so I think we cut those, and yeah, we're gonna cut the Relic of Sauron. I made my best argument for it, but at the end of the day, it's a mana neutral artifact that requires me to have 2 mana left over while I'm going off, and that might just be the death sentence for it because of all of that. Like, it's too much. Alright. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, alright. Legends of Sauron. What is the third one? Oh, I have Relic of Legends on twice because it's still staying on the list. Not that, we just need to backspace. There we go. I'll be okay. Alright, let's go get rid of everything that has Signet in the title, except for Arcane. Learning my lesson, let's go find the sphere, because Commander is kind of all over this list. And then we go back up to the top for Basalt. And now we're back up at the top, so we can just go ahead and rid of these cards. So 3, 6, 7 again. Triple checking. Hey, clear all those off. Save. Because we're at the... just about at the hour mark. So I think we call it there for right now. And we come back to it another time. I'm debating if I want to do more of this, because I do want to get this one done, and I also want to work on Fleam, so going back and forth between all of these is going to be a thing, but I want to get Fleam in position for when we inevitably get our Midweek Magic Brawl Builder Challenge, which should be coming up anytime, because I don't think, similar to Final Fantasy, I don't think there's going to be an alchemy set for Spider-Man at all. So I'm pretty sure we're safe there, unless they, had something that they had desperately wanted to do to make Through the Omen Pass feel a little bit special. But I very seriously doubt it. So we should get the Brawl Builder Challenge, if not like next week, like in the next somewhere in the next 3 weeks. I'm expecting it. So if I could have Fleam done in preparation for that, that'd be super helpful. I'll definitely be back on later drafting something. I'm debating if I actually want to do some Final Fantasy flashback drafts, because Through the Omen Pass, like, there's a handful of things I haven't done yet that'd be cool if I got them. I have not actually gotten Fleam on Arena yet in a draft, so I haven't gotten him at all, honestly, but I haven't gotten him in a draft so I could play with him. Cosmic Spider-Man, whatever it is, the Spider, I have not gotten to try yet, because it's a very small set. We've actually played with a lot of the mythics. We played with, like, Doc Ock and like Mythic Miles and Mythic Gwen. So not Mythic Peter, I don't think. I don't think I've had that Spider-Man, but we have gotten to play with a bunch of the other mythics in the set and done cool things with them, so. But yeah, that's going to do it for me for right now, so thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good rest of your day.